Hey everyone, welcome back to my Earth-Friendly Kitchen. I'm Maria, your host, and today we're going to be making something kind of fun. It's going to be a take on chicken cordon bleu, but we're making a chicken cordon bleu sandwich with a really delicious aioli on some fresh ciabatta bread. Say it 5 times fast. Anyways, I'm going to actually make it 2 ways though. I'm going to do one that's breaded and fried and another one that's just like kind of grilled on the griddle. You can see chicken cordon bleu in general made both ways. And so I thought, let's try to make it both ways for the sandwich and see which one we like better. Most people will say the crispy fried one, but you know, the other one will probably be a little bit of a healthier option. So we have panko breadcrumbs in one pan, probably about 1.5 cups in here. And I just have like a quick little empty like prep bowl next to it. So I'm gonna start out with salt. We're gonna do 1 teaspoon of kosher salt. And I'm just gonna be putting the same thing in both. A teaspoon of parsley is gonna go in there, into both. Do 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder. 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon of white pepper. And then you can just give it a little mix everything together. And then same thing for your breadcrumbs here. And we'll set this aside for the time being. Then we're gonna work on our chicken. So I have here, this is 2 pounds of chicken breast. Now 2 pounds gave me 2 large chicken breasts, but because there's just, you know, they're too thick, I'm not going to be making sandwiches. Can you imagine with this? No, we're going to be slicing it nice and thin. Okay, so we're going to slice them thin and we're going to use those for our sandwiches. I like doing it this way as opposed to buying the thin breast already kind of cut for you. The reason being is that you usually pay more for it to be thinner. And when you can just take your knife, put your hand flat on it, and just make really even cuts all the way across for a nice thin chicken breast. Now this is gonna get me about 3 cutlets each. And you keep your hand on top, one so that your blade has pressure beneath it, so it gives you a more even cut, but also so that you don't run the risk of cutting your hand or your fingers. So in my household, more people will want to eat the breaded ones than the grilled ones. So I'm gonna take, let's see, this all bread, grill, bread, and bread. All right, so this is, I'm splitting them up to my grill pieces and my breaded pieces. All right, so I'm just not going to keep my chicken hand from touching anything. I'm going to turn on my pan here and get some oil hot in that pan. I'm going to season my chicken that's not getting breaded with the seasoning we put in this bowl. So you're just going to take a pinch, make sure you get all the seasoning, and just sprinkle it right over the top of each piece that you're going to be grilling. Be generous with it, you know, because when you cook, some of the seasonings, they come off into the oil, into the pan. All right, and then you're going to flip right on the other side. You want to evenly season on both sides. So our oil looks like it's getting nice and hot. We're just going to put our chicken pieces right into the pan here. We're going to take one more pan and we're going to drop an egg into it just to kind of create like an egg wash. Since we're only doing a few pieces of the chicken, I'm just going to do 1 egg because it should be enough just to give a nice light coating of the egg for the panko to stick to. All right, we'll get this and then the rest of our seasonings. And normally I do flour, egg, panko, but today we're just going to do egg and panko because, you know, this is a pretty light coating. I don't want it to be like super thick coating of breading. It's just going to help give it a little bit of lightness to it. All right. Now you're just looking for browning on the chicken. You're not trying to like overcook them until they get a little bit slightly browned, right? To look like this. That's what you want. because they're going to cook a little bit more of the way once you place them in your pan to bake, to melt the cheese into your onto your ham and your chicken. So you don't want to overcook your chicken on this end, you know, before you get a chance to do that. All right, and in the meantime, I'll start spreading one of my pieces here to kind of get ahead of the game. Put these smaller pieces in. And I'm putting them on just a sheet pan while I'm getting, you know, letting these rest while I do the spreading, and they're all going to go in together to cook up with the ham and the cheese. And I'll show you how that goes together in a minute. If you have a piece that's like a little bit thicker on one side, you might want to let it cook a little bit longer, right, than the other ham piece or your other chicken pieces, you know, just in case you didn't have such an even cut. But that's why evenness is important, so that you have an even cook, not just for aesthetics. And then we're going to do a little bit more oil because we are frying. So you don't need it to be very thick. You're still shallow frying, but you know, about 1/8 of an inch or so on the bottom of your pan will be good. All right. Okay, nice. The pan's not too overcrowded. Everything should fry beautifully. All right. And I'm just going to clean this up and get ready for the next step while these are frying. Flip them when they're nice and golden brown. So our chickens are done frying. Chickens? It's just one chicken breast, but cut into multiple cutlets, are done frying. These are grilled, right? And so for the chicken cordon bleu aspect, we're going to layer them with a slice of just regular old ham, sandwich ham. You want to stick to just like maybe smoked ham or roasted ham. You don't want to do like maybe honey ham for this. For your larger pieces, you can use more than one slice to help cover it. You know, typically when you have cordon bleu, chicken cordon bleu, it is rolled and stuffed with the ham and the Swiss. Today, because we're making a sandwich, we're layering it because you don't want this big old roll in your meat sandwich. And you want to be easy. That's why we didn't put a ton of salt into the seasoning, because, you know, ham has salt, cheese has salt, you know, other things. So you want to be careful with that. Now for the cheese, like I said, we're using Swiss. This is what is traditional. Swiss or provolone is usually the preferred cheese for cordon bleu. All of my French eaters or French pastry or French chefs are going to come at me because they're probably going to go, no, it's exactly this. But honestly, it's just a really good, sharp white cheese is going to work for this dish. So whatever you've got. And we happen to have Swiss because it's my daughter's new favorite cheese. She likes the holy cheese is what she calls it. And you just want to put enough on top so that you get a nice layer. And we're going to broil this in the oven. And then for my grilled pieces here, because I'm the one eating the grilled pieces and I am dairy free, I'm using this dairy free cheese by BioLife. I am not sponsored by BioLife. It's just the one that I like the flavor. It's a smoked provolone by them. If they want to sponsor me, they can, but I am not currently sponsored by anyone. So we're going to pop these in the broiler for about 5 minutes until everything is nice and melty and gooey, and then we'll bring them out and put our sandwich together. In the meantime, we're going to make our aioli. All right, for 4 aioli, we're going to take about 1/2 cup of mayonnaise, a 1/4 cup of Dijon mustard. We're going to do a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, a teaspoon of parsley, just a little dash of salt. I'm going to give that a good whisk to combine. Should come something like that, like a dressing. Okay, give it a taste. Perfect. Okay, we've got this nice roll of ciabatta. Now you want it to be a nice hearty sandwich, right? We've got a pretty decent size piece of chicken, right? So you want the bread to hold up to it. That's why I like ciabatta bread for this sandwich, because it's crusty on the outside, but nice and soft on the inside. Okay, oh, perfect. It's just so spongy and delicious. It's gonna be great for whoever gets to eat this. Not me, I have my own because I'm gluten-free, right? I make my own bread. This is one I got from the bakery. All right. And you're just going to put your aioli, nice generous layer of sauce onto your half of the bread. And with all these little nooks and crannies, it's gonna get kind of in there and permeate every bite here. Put a nice piece of crunchy lettuce. Could be Iceberg or Romaine. Don't come at me for Iceberg, okay? It adds a crunch. I know everybody's like, there's nothing to it. I get that, but it's crunchy, okay? And it's good for a sandwich. And it's cheap. And that's what we like, right? And we are going to take our amazing chicken cutlet. Look how delicious and melty and ooey gooey that looks. And place this right on top. I mean, you can cut this in half to help people out. Oh my gosh, look how amazing that looks. I mean, it seems simple, but it's just gonna be so tasty and delicious. I'm gonna take one little bite so as not to upset my belly, but I gotta try it. The chicken is perfectly cooked. That sauce has such amazing flavor. The cheese is melty. It's warm. It's a delicious sandwich to just warm you up inside. This is great for lunch. It's great for dinner. It's great to make ahead of time. Pack it up, heat it up when you get to work in the microwave. 30 seconds is all you'll need to warm this up if you take it to work for you for the week. I totally encourage you to try making these delicious sandwiches. A nice take on chicken cordon bleu. A nice friendly take on chicken cordon bleu. If you like it, don't forget to let me know in the comments. I look at them all the time. I always answer when I can. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more recipes like this. We'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.